Okay, so we've talked about leagues. We've talked about some of the things you want to consider when you're joining a league or starting a league, to be honest with you. And I love spreadsheets, like Google spreadsheets. It's weird. It's technically not as good as Excel, but the way that it intermeshes is amazing and you can do some great stuff. But then I saw a lot of game posts in like random places, like whether it was on Twitter or Facebook or something of the Tourplay, and it visually looks really good. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Then one of our coaches was like, we should look at running our league on Tourplay. Like, so we did. So BT, what is Tourplay?
It's really cool league management system which does everything you probably wanted to do and more. Like, I don't think we know who made it, do we?
It's just the people who make Tourplay make Tourplay.
Yeah, it's like it's phenomenal. It's and if you are listening to this and you made Tourplay, reach out. It'd be awesome to have a chat about it. Because it's a really good league management system that will log all your games, all your awards and things like that in real time, and importantly, it also logs your games in real time. So once you've paired up and your league has like said you're playing this person, you're playing this person, which you can do manually as well. Ian's been doing some games manually; it's not all automatic.
Yep.
You both hit start, and it runs through everything automatically. It'll roll your weather for you. It will show up. It will roll your fans for you. They show up. You then like do you want inducements? Pick your inducements. Yeah. Do you want inducements? And it will give you a list of your available inducements. Just hit the ones you want. Comes up automatically, and then you just good to go. You don't have to click like next turn. It doesn't track it by turn. It tracks things by time.
Yeah,
so it starts like ticking a clock. Yeah, but I think that's great because having to hit every end turn every time would be annoying, and then you'd miss it, and things would go wrong. Then when something happens in the game, let's say I inflict a casualty on Ben, I would log the player that did a casualty and that he was injured. He would log an injury on his player, and it will roll the injury for you, apply anything for you. So it's like, you roll a 14, and you can do this in the app, or you can roll dice and then input the result. You can do either one, so you're not bound to playing on an app, which some people would rather not do. And it just logs it all, and it's awesome because if you're not at a club, like going on back onto like the game outside the game we were talking about earlier, if you're not at a club, you can see all these games with a little like in progress like banner coming along, like a live sports match, like an actual live fixture, and this thing just pops up. Like this timeline at the top, then scrolls up a second. Timeline starts developing in real time, and it's really cool.
And when I was in Italy, I checked in on the Tuesday to see what the games were. We're out at dinner, and I was like, I want to see what's going on in the league. And I could just jump on to Tourplay, go to our league, go to fixtures, and see who was playing, and click on the game and see what was going on and see where the scores were. And that's just an absolute dream. Like, I mean, we've talked about this, but like I was missing my Blood Bowl fix when I was on holiday. Awesome. Love my wife. Wonderful holiday. But also kind of like, that Saturday when you guys were at the tournament, I haven't experienced that much FOMO in probably forever. I was like, I want to know what's happening, like who's winning. Like it's one of the most exciting things about a tournament or a league is like who's winning, what's the score, what's the story that's developing. The cool thing here is you just log onto your league or anybody else's league. You go into a game, you can see what's happening, and then you can see what's happened. And it's super impressive. Now, Ben, for playing the game, is it easy to forget to add stats? Is it easy to add like casualties and things as you're going along?
It's incredibly easy. I would say it can be easy to forget. I think you get very used to it. It hasn't happened for me. I think it's happened for some people, and then they just log it at the end. So it's not too bad. I think. I think if you're using it, you kind of want to because it's really fun to track it, and like you kind of remember for your own benefit because it's really fun to go back and remember. It also is really handy to log things that you might forget. Oh, who inflicted that casualty? If you weren't actively tracking it, you might it kind of gives you an incentive to remember.
Yeah,
that makes any sense.
Well, this is something that we ended up like. This is something that's really difficult with every league. Is how you're going to report your stats, how you're going to report what happens, because we've all been there, and it's like at the end of the game. I mean, for goodness sake, Ben, we filmed like 20 games for the Bonehead Championship. How many times are we like, who did that casualty? Like, who did that? And fortunately, we had a camera, so we could kind of go back and check. But otherwise, in League, you're like, I think it was this guy. It's like, oh, okay, fine. Like you said, having that incentive to log it while you're playing is awesome. The fact you don't have to and you can chuck it on afterwards gives you that that freedom is the word to do it one way or another. So if you are not necessarily tech adverse, if you just like want to focus on the game, like you can focus on the game, write it on your sheet like you normally would, and then at the end of the game chuck it all on. I mean, Ben, does it work all right on the phone?
Oh yeah, so it's like I feel like it's built first and foremost for mobile. So like it works really awesome on mobile because it's designed. You know, you log it at the game. You're not going to have a laptop with you unless you're Ben. And
I was going to say absurd. Yeah, absolutely absurd.
So yeah, just having your phone on there is great, and you can. It's not like an app. You don't have to have it on because it's all run server side. You can close your phone. You can close your browser. It will still run. You can leave. You go to a different page, look up results, go back. They're going to be there. So it's not logged on your phone. It's logged on us.
So I think the best way to describe it is it's Fumble for the tabletop. Like Fumble does a great job of logging your stats, logging your SPPs, telling you what you can take, what you can't take, reminding you the rules at the beginning of the game. Like, and Fumble's awesome for that, and then you play the game on Fumble. But this is I'm saying it's Fumble because they've used the sprites from Fumble for all the player characters, so it looks the same. But actually, it's everything you want from a league management system. The players can log on; they can see their own stuff. As a player, you create an account and you create a team. So there is a bit of a threshold there. But actually, that's how you do it. Like, but it helps you. It tells you what you can and can't buy. So instead of going onto a spreadsheet and trying to figure it out yourself or sending a handwritten note to your league commissioner, you log on, you adjust your account, and it's really intuitive to be like, I'm going to buy this skill, I'm going to take a random, and you can do that. You know, you can go to game night, you can come home, you can chill out, have a cup of tea, and then 11:45, you're like, oh, you know what? Actually, I'm going to see what level ups I can take on my guy. You don't have to be at club, and it's controlled and it's commissioner related.
So, yeah, like that's a key thing. Is like you can't fudge it. Like I rolled Fumblerooski at random on my thrower. Had I been at home and I rolled that, I'd have ignored the dice.
Yeah, we would not allow people to roll for randoms unless they were at club. Like,
exactly,
because not that not saying you're gonna cheat, but actually, it seems fairer, right? And actually, the fact that this takes it, logs it, presents it. I can log on and see what skills you've got, your guys. It's a really cool system. Are there any downsides that you've come across?
I was thinking about this before we recorded, and honestly, I don't think so. I think it's genuinely flawless.
It isn't free, and I think it's worth mentioning that there is a small cost. I can't remember if it's €10 or €20 a month. I think I paid €20 so that we can have 20 plus teams or something. But if you think about it, it's €1 per player per month or something like that.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. Like if it's a split league cost, which I would be more than happy to contribute, Ben.
Ian re-upped for me because I didn't realize that what I'd paid had run out. Like,
oh, okay.
So Ian re-upped, but he sort of said, "Look, well, I'll just take it out of the because we pay to play at the club. Just
that's a good idea."
So actually, if everyone goes 3 times a month, then it's going to be like £7-8. And actually, if one of those pounds needs to go in paying for the league, then actually, this level of accessibility is worth it.
Yeah, it's huge. It saves you a lot of if you think of how long, or at least how much effort the labour is into putting into like spreadsheet management and things like that. Having this do it for you
it gives you
a lot of time back.
Absolutely worth it. The graphics, like just the fact that it has got, you choose your colour for your team, and then you can add a logo if you want. You don't have to have a logo, but it just graphically represents things in a way that looks really nice. And if you go to our League homepage, which I will link in below because you can log on and check out our League because you might as well. You've got a news bit at the front of your League that says recent events. So I can see that Arzul Ironarm, the Bloodseeker, got block at 16 Castles. So that's Sam. So Sam, 3 hours ago, logged on and gave his Bloodseeker block. Anonymous, the Dark Elf lineman, took block. Flasher, the Chaos Dwarf blocker, got shadowing at a random primary.
Or killer random.
Sorry, Randall, that's brutal. Craig Steele took extra arms on a Pestigore. Mo Farrow got grab a random, like, quick plank border. Your Gutter Runner got 2 heads on a secondary a day ago. Like, it's got that thing, and that's one of the cool things about Fumble is you've got some stuff like that, but this is just top. You can put news for your League in there. You just log on and see stuff, and you've got the most recent games here. So if we want to just flick through and pick a game, you just pick a game. So there's having
the team icons just makes this look so good. It's like proper like sports pictures, isn't it? That little banner with all the games.
It is so good. And yeah, you just click on a game. You can go down. You can see if you want to see a team. So Palmer Violence, Byron's Underworld team, won that game 4-0. You click on that. You can see his team. You can see there the Underworld Troll's got claws. You've got Skaven Blitzer with Tackle, Mighty Blow. And this team's getting a bit chunky now, isn't it?
It's pretty grim. Yeah, that Gutter Runner is...
It's only 1185, so actually it's fine. He's got a block Clan Rat, Sneaky Git Goblin, a block 2 heads Gutter. Okay, that's your
I've got one of those too, though. So
yeah.
I wanted to get one in return for when I face him.
Oh, block 2 heads, extra arms thrower.
Yeah, that's pretty gnarly, isn't it?
That's awesome.
Extra arms on a thrower, though.
Yeah, 2+ pickup, 2+ pickup.
Oh, it's pickup as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent. Like, that's really cool. And you can see that this Goblin lineman who has 2 heads is actually missing next game. And you can see what they've got. You can see the latest matches. And it's just done in a really cool way. And you can go onto your team. You can name them. You can do stuff and change things.
And they use the Fumble icons.
They did use the Fumble icons, which I think is just, hey, it's 64-bit graphics. It's perfection.
It's really cute. Yeah.
Absolutely love it. And the timelines are really good. So this is so we've covered all the good bits. We've talked about some things that it's not good at, which is literally just the fact that it isn't free, and there is a little bit of a learning curve from a TO point of view, like shuffling matches around, allowing teams in, deleting players, reshuffling teams, but there's always going to be the case. Just be a good commissioner and figure it out. Their help team are amazing. So I had a question about redrafting right at the very beginning of this league, and I flagged it up on their contact us, and they got back to me within, I think it was just a few hours, like pinged it back saying, yeah, no worries, you can do it like this. Super good. My question is around tournaments, Ben, because they've got this preview element here to run a tournament on Tourplay. And they've got some tournaments listed. I don't think any of them are live. I don't think any of them have been done. But
one of them has been 24th.
Oh yeah.
That's all the games.
What, round 1, round 2, round 3? Although round 3 hasn't been completed. So interesting. Very interesting. But what do you think about using a platform like this for tournaments?
I think this would be amazing. And I would like this to potentially controversially replace the NAF. Because an issue we've had, especially with the recent tournament, is that while the NAF is good, getting a bit out of date.
Ben means the NAF website, not necessarily the actual player association.
Yes, of course. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the NAF website. While it's good and it's functional, it's still lacking, especially in tournament where not everyone is NAF registered. So some people won't have their games logged. It's something that we have an issue with when we're logging the games on there. So recently we had a couple of players and he's like, oh, my games aren't showing up from SCS. And I was just like, oh, I'll go check the players. And sadly, they didn't play any NAF players, so no games are logged. I think this would be really cool to log it anyway. So you can always go back and see your game result, and you can have your teams which you can take to multiple tournaments. The team kind of gets tournament experience, which I think is a really cool thing. I think that's really cool. If you don't mind me dipping into a downside of that straight away, is that it requires people to sign up, which is a barrier.
That was because we had a little chat about this with Milton as well, because we've been talking about opportunities to run better tournaments, and actually we've got a system that would allow our players to submit their game entries by Google Sheets, like straight away at the end of the match. They can submit it and it will automatically populate onto our tournament sheet on the day. But we've decided not to do that because actually it creates that tech barrier split. And then we were like, what about Tourplay? Because I love the interface. I love that you can basically, it's the coach's problem to figure out how to create a team, which isn't that difficult. And I love that, and it's got all the functionality. Like, there's probably some bits you'd want to do differently, etc. But there's certainly not something that's not insurmountable. Like it's basically, like I said, it's Fumble, but you enter your stuff from the tabletop in there. But that barrier, if you think about our tournament spend, so we had 60 players for SCS, something like that, yeah. And the majority of the rosters were brilliant and sent in, but actually the wherewithal to populate a roster in a certain format or by a certain timeline, it can be difficult depending on your life. If you're like, oh my god, that tournament's in 2 weeks, I better write that roster, and then you go back to work, or your kid cries and you go do that and you forget about it, then there is a barrier to it. But I think having a good tech system like this, it really is I think it's a really nice middle ground of, hey, you need to populate your roster by Saturday the 27th, otherwise you can't play.
Mm-hmm.
And the roster's right there, and you go on and you build it, and there's always the tech thing. I mean, we did it for our Fumble leagues during the apocalypse, right? We were like, hey, get your team populated by here, by this link, and if you're registered, you're good to go. If you're not registered by this point, you can't, because we're going to populate the rounds. I love the graphics. I love the way it logs stuff. I love how viewer friendly it is. I think it's probably
so nice. The UI is beautiful on it. It's really cool. It's really exciting to show people. Like I got friends who I've got friends who I play Warhammer with who haven't been into Blood Bowl before, and I've been showing them the update of like the games and stuff, and like some really interesting games. I've been like showing them the result. There's some really good stories of like you can log like was it Phil's Greenskin Phil's like goblin who was just like foul die or something like that, where it was just like justice served, something like that. And you can just like send stuff like that, and now they are like, at least 2 of them are buying Blood Bowl teams because they're just like, this is awesome. Like the fact you can see the growing league, like they're sports people.
Yeah, Lenny, number 16, foul, injury dead. 5-0 for one of your games, Ben. Blimmin' heck.
Oh yeah, or Craig
dethroning me as the Skaven King.
That was the one where I needed some cash. I put the side bet and got 5 touchdowns and got like 135k or something. Yeah,
man,
it was gnarly.
That's insane. But I mean, I'm really impressed with it. Like, absolutely super impressed with it. The one thing that puts me off it, just for our purposes, like, would be some of the privacy functionality. I assume it can be added if it's not there, but if we were going to be running a tournament, you want your rosters to be secret. At the moment, I think you can log on and see anybody's team. It might be a setting. Like, that's something that definitely be secure about it. But also, I was thinking we could use this for the Bonehead Championship, right?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Except there's a button here that says hide team composition. Fantastic.
There you go.
We'll be showing to other participants. Will not be shown. This could be deactivated at any time. That's amazing. would be private, having the league private, because I wouldn't want people to just be able to go and check out what this, because we play.
Oh
yeah. So I was like, that would be really cool to show that off, and I'm like, except that people could just go to Tourplay, find our league, and check it out.
Can you make the whole league private anyway?
I don't know. I couldn't find a button for that.
Okay.
I hope that would be in there. Oh, you can save. Oh, that's interesting. I guess you could just kind of fudge it and just create a league and.
Well, if you said the support is good, maybe we can ask them and find out.
Yeah, because actually it'd be a really good way and a really good graphical way of representing it for the channel as well. And I love that. So yeah, I mean, Tourplay looks and is the core bit of League, and in fact, almost everything is in there. So actually, if they carry on with the tournament work that they're doing, this is probably going to be. There's potential there of this being a primary Blood Bowl competitive platform. And I know there is another one called Break Tackle that's been brewed up that could be a nice competitor, but we haven't seen too much out of that one yet. But Tourplay, I'm impressed. And if you're telling me that actually everyone else is loving it too, then I think this is super something to be aware of if you're planning on running a Blood Bowl league. Like, yes, all right, it's £10 a month or whatever, but that might be the best £10 you ever pay. from a league commissioner point of view.
I feel like your pricing's off. League season, number of users up to 10 is €4 a month, and then an extra 40 cents per user.
After that. That's awesome.
So yeah, €4 plus €4 for up to 10. It's basically 40 cents per player.
Kind of, yeah. A
month.
I'm only thinking because I paid €20 because when I was going through my accounts, I found it. I was like, I paid €20 for Tourplay. That's fine.
Okay, you can get 200 players.
I guess that's like 2 months or something. Because 26 teams, haven't we? So I don't know. 10 weeks. I'm not sure. Anyway, anything else you want to add from Tourplay?
Tournaments are currently free, Wallison.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're. I don't know. We need to check it out, I think, for tournaments. I do like the system we've got. It's pretty low barrier to entry, so I do enjoy that. But actually, if your league wanted to run a tournament, this would be the best way to do it. But if you've got people traveling from all over the place, then actually, if you're planning on running the World Cup, this probably isn't the answer. Although it feels like it would be the answer.
It says up to 500 players on the tournaments. So.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. This time next year, Ben, we may be using Tourplay to run our tournaments.
It would be good. I think trusting that it will work for a whole tournament, I think is where I have doubt. Just in terms of if something goes wrong, at least when it's our own systems, we can fix it.
Yeah. Well, we use a backup as well, don't we? So
yeah, exactly.
We use a public-facing manual entry, and then we use Score as the core of it. So if Score goes down, we've got a Google version. If Google goes down, we've got the Score version. And it works really well, I think. Right, wicked. Okay, BT, I think we've covered everything on Tourplay.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, fantastic. Now, before we wrap up, it's episode 97. We do have episode 100 coming up in literally a month's time. So the first episode in September will be episode 100. So if you've got ideas for what you want to see or just help us, because otherwise it's just probably going to be about Amazons. So
that'd be so sad.
I know. Episode 100, nobody's favorite team. No, I'm joking. There are some.
I have a full week off work before that week.
Do you really?
This could be quite exciting. Yeah.
Oh, I've got a floating week actually, because I'm supposed to have a week off in August, but that was for my old job, and I don't work in that old job anymore, and I've just had 3 weeks off due to being sick and on holiday, so maybe we'll have to...
That's dangerous. We'll have... Give us time to do something stupid.
But yeah, answers on a postcard. Let us know what nonsense you think we should do, or what you think would be worthy of episode 100, because, yeah, we could have a good fun time, I reckon. Anyway, BT, thanks ever so much for giving up your Wednesday night to chat Blood Bowl.
Thank you very much.
And we'll wrap up now. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking.
Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to help support the channel even further, please like and subscribe, or come join us on our Patreon. We have early access to content. We get loads of feedback from you guys, and we try and do competitions as much as we can. Or you can get yourself some Bonehead Podcast merch on our Spreadshirt site. So if you want to support a team, especially for the Bonehead Championship, you can pick up a shirt, a mug, things like that. It all helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it. Anyway, links below. Thank you very much. Happy blocking.